Good afternoon and welcome to Town Talk here based out of the chamber here at the town of Stephenville. I'm Marilee Joy Castillo. I'm the communications manager with the town of Stephenville, and I have Laura Caswell here with me today. And Laura is the artistic director with Stephenville Theatre Festival, and I am very honored to have you here as my first guest. Welcome.
It's such a pleasure to be here.
Excellent. And Laura, I know you are brand new to Stephenville, so
Yes.
why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so it's very exciting to be here in Stephenville. I've been coming on and off since October, and now I'm here until the fall. And yeah, myself originally, I'm from Ottawa, Ontario, born and raised, and I've been working in theater for over 25 years, performing, directing, choreographing, producing, writing. I love cabarets, comedy, improv, all these things, which has meant that I've kind of floated all around the country, lived many different places. And in the most recently, I've lived in Halifax, based out of Halifax, Chibougamau in Nova Scotia. And now I'm here. It's really exciting. This is my first artistic director role in my career so far. And it's just such a wonderful place to take this next step in this great adventure here in Stephenville.
Absolutely. And of course, Stephenville Theatre Festival is, I'm pretty sure, one of the longest running theater festivals in the province. And
it does have the official title. I got some information about what it all means. It's not the oldest, but it is the longest running professional theater company in Newfoundland and Labrador. That's a true fact.
Excellent. And I mean, it's been a staple in the community in the town of Stephenville for a very long time. So
this is our 47th season we're entering now.
That is unbelievable. So I guess, this year is going to be, every year is a great year, but I guess then there's going to be big prep for the 50th, which is going to be just around the corner. As you mentioned, this is the 47th season, so it's only another 2 years and going into a big one.
Myself and General Manager Ben Pittman and the board are really working on thinking of launching towards this 4-year plan to build to the 50th and making it a very exciting season and really looking at how we can reflect back and look and dream about the future all at the same time.
Excellent. And of course, you've mentioned you've had lots of experience at different places throughout Canada. And what do you think makes Stephenville a little bit different than other places you've worked in?
Well, it's just, again, it's so interesting because you travel all around. And also I went to school in London and England and New York. So, I've done big cities, small towns, and some other small towns I've worked in. I've been included places like Sudbury, and then there's small towns in Ontario like Port Hope. All these places have this wonderful character and community. But I would say, to answer your question, community, like the everyone here, it feels like they are Stephenville. They're proud of Stephenville, and they're very welcoming, but also protective of their community here, which I truly admire. There's this unspoken code of how things are and do work, but people are also open to new people and new ideas, which is really, really exciting. I think this town is resilient. And that's one reason this festival has been running for so long. And the most exciting thing is people here love live entertainment. It's in their blood. It's in their bones. So you don't actually have to convince anyone that they should enjoy live entertainment. They want that. And that's awesome.
It is, for sure. And I mean, it takes a lot of work to come up with a season, to prepare for the season, to put off a season. So how do you go about choosing what shows you're going to put off?
It's really interesting because, again, artistic directors is such a weird job, and there's not actually that many of us across the country when you really think. There's probably just 500 people for theater who do this weird job. And people will tell you, I've heard it from other artistic directors, you do your interview for getting these kind of jobs and you present these ideal seasons. It will never be the season you're going to do. You write these grants with these ideal seasons. It's probably not going to be the season you're going to do, because you have to dream it and plan it, and it has to have some logic and it has to have some vision. But then you also have to mix with the practical, and then there's also curveballs that come, you can't actually get the rights to that show this year, or we thought we would have this actor but they're not available anymore, or so. it takes a lot of time, a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of Post-it notes, a lot of conversations. And then I know myself, I was trying to find things that kind of clicked together, but partly because we're a theater in rep. So we have actors in 2 shows at the same time. So they have to be castable in 2 shows, which can mean you have to think more strategically about what will match together so you have the right people. And then also just like thinking practically from what is our capacity this year? How much money do we have for sets and costumes? Like something like Mary Poppins, for example, would cost a lot to do. And, if we don't have the means to do that show, I'd rather wait until we could. For example, I'm not saying we're doing Mary Poppins. I was just using that as an example.
Is this maybe a hint for something coming out the 50th? Just asking.
No, I just wanted to share some insights. So and then it all gets approved by the board. So I know I just went on a little rant there, educational rant, but it is a little fun puzzle piece game.
Excellent. And of course, you've got a fantastic cast again this year.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Grace is returning from last year. She was a fan favorite.
And Kawe was here last year as well.
Kawe was here as well, yeah. So why don't you tell us a bit about your cast you have this summer?
Well, it's a really fun mix. There's a few people who are coming back. So you just mentioned Grace and Kawe, and then Cara Pantalone has been here a number of years ago. I forgot how many years, but she was here and did at least 1 season. And then Felipe De Brito, he was also here for some of the Tara Bruce productions. So he's also a familiar face. We have 2 youngsters who will be familiar to people, Gracie and David, who are stars of Nomad Stage primarily, and they're joining us in our new LEAP program, which just gives up-and-coming and emerging artists a chance to be part of a professional production. Then we have some Newfoundland artists, Philip Goodrich and Violet Cummings and Helena Elume. And then it's a mix. Everyone else, some people are people I've known from Halifax that auditioned and I cast in the shows. And some people are brand new to me from our auditions and audition tapes. And it's a cast of 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
As they say, it takes a village.
It takes us a very small but mighty village.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned about the LEAP program. Mm-hmm. So why don't you tell us a bit about the LEAP program and how that all works?
Well, it's all going to be part of something more officially called the Launchpad. We're very excited that Stephenville, for almost 50 years, has been an unofficial launchpad to many careers, on stage, off stage. I've never worked at Stephenville until now, but everybody that I know, like every show I'm in, people are like, oh, I was at Stephenville. So all across the country. So the Launchpad has a few different components. There's Leap, Lift, and Launch. And Leap is a new idea that I have. I'm trying to figure out what can STF offer that other programs or activities maybe in this community can't. And what we can offer is an opportunity for people to work with professions. So we're giving them some information and education in advance. They're at the rehearsals. They're treated like professionals. They get to gain that experience. And we are also trying to offer them some mentorship along the way so they can ask some questions and gain knowledge.
Definitely a fun program, it sounds like.
Yeah, we're hoping that this year's it's only 2. Hopefully it'll grow over the next few years. This is a bit of a pilot project, if you will.
Excellent. So why don't we talk a bit about this year's season? I know there's some exciting shows. I know I've heard people talking about them, and the Queen's Country is always a fan favorite. And of course, we've got the All Shook Up. Why don't you tell us a bit about the season?
So we've got a big Broadway musical, which is All Shook Up. That show actually was on Broadway about 20 years ago. It is a hit Broadway show, even though maybe some people don't remember or didn't hear about it. It came out right at that time when jukebox musicals were really popular with Mamma Mia. And so then this show was written by Joe Di Pietro, and it's all Elvis songs. The arrangements are what sell it. No one is Elvis. It's just new rearrangements of his hits, anything from All Shook Up to Little Less Conversation to I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. Any of those that you want, If I Can Dream, they're all in there. I think there's about 28 songs. And it is a kind of a reimagining of Shakespeare stories, most specifically Twelfth Night, in the sense of it. There's lots of little love triangles and mistaken identity, and it all happens in the course of one day. And we're in this sort of 1950s small town, kind of middle America, but not necessarily the United States. And everyone's there is a little glum and blue. And then this motorcycle riding, leather jacket guy comes in with his guitar, and they all come to life and find their joy and their dreams through the spirit of music. And it's fun. There's like amazing choreography by Amelia Hironaka, and our music director is Gwen Dawson from Stephenville.
I was gonna say Gwen is a local.
Gwen is a local, and I'm just grateful because Gwen and I have worked together for a number of years in Halifax, and
a very musical family.
I know,
a whole family.
Gwen is an icon in Halifax and a true gift. And I'm so when I knew she could come here, like it almost makes me teary. I'm just so excited to bring her back here. This is where she got her start, her launch pad way back in the day. And I know she's thrilled to be here with us.
Absolutely. And of course, Gwen's dad was actually my principal.
There you go.
In primary and elementary school.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And so that's also go up. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody has actually, or maybe you know this, but Elvis was actually in Stephenville.
I have heard tell. And then someone said that wasn't true. It was a fake myth. And then people were like, no, it's actually true.
Oh yeah, there's actually pictures of him in Stephenville. I believe one of the pictures actually has him outside, of course, the Harmon Theatre.
Mm-hmm.
And they may have them over at the museum.
Yeah.
But I know the pictures definitely do exist. And he was here, of course, as Stephenville was an American Air Force base back in the 60s. So, yeah.
Well, that's one reason we picked it. There, we know the community here loves Elvis, but also it is a really fun, upbeat musical. And I think right now that's what people need.
Absolutely. So, of course, that's going to be a showstopper.
Here's hoping. Yeah. I mean, again, we've just finished our first week of rehearsals, but I can guarantee you it will sound fantastic. And we've started the movement and blocking of numbers, and there's going to be lots visually and fun and heart. And yeah, it's great.
Excellent. And I mentioned the Queens of Country. That's your dinner theater this year.
Dinner theater at the Days Inn, yeah.
Yeah, and that's always a popular show. And of course, you can go and enjoy a meal and listen to some great entertainment at the same time. So tell us about that one.
So our creative associate, Amelia Hironaka, has created this show. And so it goes from like early 70s all till now in music of country, and with a focus on female artists. So you've got your Dolly Parton, Shania Twain, Patsy Cline, all of it, all over. I think, again, that show probably has about almost 30 songs that these four ladies are learning. And we have a live band. We have one of our performers, Evelyn, is on keys, and our music director, Jacob Terry, who's playing Chad in All Shook Up. He's going to be the band leader on Queens of Country, and he's on guitar and some other instruments, and we have a bass player and a drummer. So it's all live music. So basically for that show, you go to the Days Inn, you have your meal. The menu is posted currently if you need to see, but there's a nice like salad, chicken dish, and I think carrot cake. Oh, don't quote me on that one. And and then you go and you get to watch some entertainment, have your coffee and dessert, watch Act 2. And so the whole evening will be about 3.5 hours of entertainment and food, and hopefully you get to bring some friends and have a great night out.
Absolutely. And I've gone to many dinner theaters in the past, and it's a great evening out, and it's amazing. It always amazes me how the cast just arrives here, usually maybe May, I'm thinking.
No,
May, June.
They got here. No one got here before. Oh my gosh. I don't know. They've only been here 2 weeks.
Right.
Wherever we are now.
But yet they can, as you mentioned, they can be in more than one performance, and they've got 40 songs to learn, and just for one show, and then skip right over to another show. It's amazing.
They are truly incredible artists. And I gotta say, nice as nice can be. We're so grateful. We have a really wonderful company of people.
Absolutely. And I think, trying to think back to last year, and I know you weren't here last year, but I believe Grace had her leg broke last year.
Her ankle. Yes,
she
broke her ankle.
Right. And I remember being at the dinner theater, and I mean, she's coming in on her scooter and no time loss.
I'm going to knock wood. Hopefully no broken bones this year. But yes, she did that
absolutely.
last year.
But she's a professional. So it was just another, little roadblock. But she just went with it. And the show must go on, as they say.
Yeah.
So I know you've got some other shows there. You've got the 39 Steps.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are very excited for 39 Steps. It's a comedy, but it's murder mystery. If you've ever seen the movie, the Alfred Hitchcock movie, I know there's a few versions, but specifically the one from the 1930s, it is almost word for word that movie, but there's about 150 characters played by 4 people, and actually most of them are played by 2 because the lead guy played by Matt Kinney is Mr. Hannay, Richard Hannay. He remains himself the whole time, and sort of this whole play happens around him as we build this world. We don't have any fancy sets. We don't have any fancy costumes. The costumes are wonderfully designed by Kylie Cook, but they're mostly just hats and jackets, and we use chairs to create everything from a train to an airplane to a small cottage to a mansion. And yeah, we get the whole adventure. It's tons of laughs. This cast, we blocked the whole show in 1 week. And now we're just putting fine-tuning every moment. It's very, very funny and silly. And both shows, All Shook Up and Dinner Theater, are 2 acts. Each act is about 45 to 50 minutes. And so you get to some great entertainment.
For sure, yeah. And I know you have Made in Canada.
Yeah, so that's going to be just our gala close.
Finale.
The finale, the gala closer. I'm avoiding using the word gala because it's not going to be fancy. To me, gala comes with a fancy word, but a celebration of our company and being Canadian, like elbows up and style. So we're just gathering right now what songs our group wants to sing, like what artists people want to share. And, so far people have said anything from Rita McNeil to Trooper to, I'm sure, Alanis. We're going to just have a bunch of everything. And we've got, live musicians from the whole summer and over 14 artists that are just going to knock your socks off. It's one night only, so you got to get your ticket because it's one special event.
Exactly. And I know these are your main shows for this season, but you also have some other things that are going to be happening throughout the season as well.
Yeah, so we have a few things like Evening With, and those are really great concert nights. We get to amplify local artists. So this year we have everything from Roblo's Rock, Craig Young Trio, Jazz Apostles, and Paul Pike is bringing his song and stories Echoes to the small stage 2. And so, yeah, there's just a little bit of music for everybody. You can see those shows individually. They're also one night only, or there's even an availability to buy all 4 for $100. So you can just come see a nice little melange of local entertainment.
Wow. And why don't you tell us a bit about what happens behind the scenes?
Whoa. Okay. That's a different podcast. Actually, that would be a fun podcast to have some of those people come on and tell you more about it. But so we have a huge team of people. Well, I shouldn't say huge. We have a mighty team of people who create amazing things. We all, just in case people don't know, sets, costumes, props are all built here in town. And, we're lucky that just a couple of years ago, I think it's 2, maybe 3, the board and my predecessor, Heather, and all her team were able to acquire the Utah offices that we have up on Utah Street. And there's a shop. There's a big carp shop, prop area, and wardrobe area, which is just a great resource for the community. That's why I'm sharing that right now. And we're always open to how we can collaborate and work with community to share those resources, just putting that out there. But yeah, so what happens is the designers create designs, and preliminary designs, we all review them. Our production manager reviews them. We assess if it's feasible to create what we want. Then those designs are finalized. And then people start doing the work. The work on the ground started at about 3 to 4 weeks ago. People started building things. We have a carpenter come. We have our assistant technical director, our production manager, TD, and props, wardrobe, and a few production assistants, just people who help along the side. And then, so they do all this work, they're building. So we're lucky the Arts and Culture Center, where we get to work out of, works very collaboratively with us. And we get to go in there and start to so our set is almost already up. It's amazing. And at least the basics. And then also on the side, the stage managers get to work and they go through all the scripts, write out all the props, write out all the anticipated lighting cues. They start preparing their scripts. They start creating schedules, communicating. I don't even know. I should do some math, but I would guess, this is the end of week 2 of rehearsals, but I would guess there's at least 350 hours of production work that's happened on, as well as just the rehearsal hours.
Absolutely. And I know you mentioned Kylie Cook, and I know Kylie's been with the festival for many, many years.
Yeah, so she's doing
and
costume.
does an amazing job each year.
Yeah, it's her. She does costumes for 39 Steps, and Elizabeth Berry, who's been here before, is doing the costumes for All Shook Up. And Amanda Perron, who is our wardrobe, is doing the costumes for Queen of Country. So we have a bunch of wonderful creative minds on these shows.
And of course, these are things that when you go, you buy a ticket, you go to a show, and you say, when you're amazed and you think, my gosh, like how much work goes into this? And it's just amazing.
Well, I think that's important because, and not just here, sometimes I'm finding with live theater, people are like, it's expensive to go. In some cities, it's $200 and $300. In most regional and smaller theaters like Stephenville, we try to keep our tickets at $35 to under $50. I'm speaking in general terms now. But when you think about, to your point, like, if there's about 40 people putting together the show, that's like $1 a human that you're giving. And it honestly, like, in case people don't know, most ticket sales don't pay for productions. It's donors, sponsors, funders that really are paying for productions to happen in this country. So we're grateful to all of you funders and sponsors and donors. Thank you so much.
And has there been you mentioned rehearsals are ongoing. Has there been like a kind of a moment so far in the rehearsals that have really captured it for you or made you think like, wow, this is going to be a magical season?
I can say, there's been a few for me personally. We always like to end our week with a little bit of a circle where we reflect on that. So everyone has had some different ones. I would say so far, 39 Steps, like sometimes we've laughed so hard we start crying. So that's been fun and cathartic. And then in general, like just sometimes just listening to the music, we have Act 1 ends with Can't Help Falling in Love with You with a huge multi-harmony version. And yesterday they sang it. And yeah, I got the positive chills from listening to all those voices come together.
And what do you think, about, you mentioned, of course, that the community and supporting the festival, and why don't you, obviously that's a very important for you as the artistic director.
How can I say this? The work that is done by our board and some of our community partners, like the folks at the Gold Rush, what's the word? There's no one else who does anything like it. And it's a truly incredible venture and a truly incredible gift to the arts and culture scene. And I just can't express gratitude enough. Every time I sort of explain that relationship and how that works and the support that this small theater festival gets to some of my theater colleagues, friends around the country, they're like, what? Because fundraising and finding that kind of community support can be a challenge. And because people are tight, money is tight, or people have different areas of focus. Yeah, it's amazing. And then money aside, like everyone is just willing to put up posters, put out flyers, talk about what's going on, donate for prizes, volunteer for our 50/50. We love our volunteers. If anyone ever wants to volunteer with us, you can just send an email to info@stephenvilletheatrefestival.com, and there's a volunteer sign-up sheet on our website. Sometimes that's a great way to get involved with your community. But yeah, I would say Stephenville, honestly, like top place for volunteers and community engagement related to the theater.
Certainly says a lot based on, like you said, you've worked in numerous places throughout Canada. And I find that with Stephenville, no matter what it is that's happening locally, the residents, the community, the businesses, everybody just falls together, comes together, and really supports it.
For sure. And also, I'll just shout out to the board, our board again. Like, they do sometimes boards in general and theater boards can be off to the side a little more than what we need. These people dedicate a lot of hours and a lot of energy to keeping this company running. It's really, really special. And thanks, team.
And of course, you mentioned this is your first year here in Stephenville, so I'm sure you've got dreams. So where do you see the festival going, say, in the next 5 years or 10 years even?
Yeah, I mean, some of the things I've already talked about. You know, this festival was founded and created and brainchild of Maxim Azumder, as I think many people know, and his partner in business, Cheryl Stagg. They created this company back in 1979, and I love that it was created out of passion and a desire to engage community, to educate, to lift up this area of Newfoundland, to celebrate its beauty, and also just offer the opportunity for people on this part of the country to experience world-class theater. And that's what this place is. And so, to answer your question, I think we want to keep going in that direction, to be proud of it, I'm kind of sort of starting to say, like, big Broadway feel with small town appeal. Not to apologize that we do big Broadway shows. That's what we do here. And try and get more people to come to Stephenville to experience both the town and these awesome productions. It would not really, in many other companies in Newfoundland, do what we do. So we want to amplify that and become a destination for experiencing that type of theater.
That's right. And of course, as I mentioned, I'm sure you have that one show. Like, what's your bucket list show that you would love to bring to Stephenville?
I bet you it'll keep changing. One that has come up, which would be very fun because it has never happened here, is Annie. That show's happening at Stratford this year. It seems to be on a bit of a list of for people. But that show, for me personally, like, I watched that movie, I don't even know how many times when I was a child, and sang all the songs. So it sort of is the reason I got into theater. So if I got to do that show here, it would be kind of serendipitous, I think.
And everybody knows the movie Annie, and there's been so many different versions, and every version is like, it's just a great movie.
Well, totally. And that also helps us live up to some, like, bridging that gap and educating, because there's a whole bunch of children in that show and dogs. And I love dogs. I have a dog. She's often at the theater. I don't think Bella would be Sandy because she doesn't really listen to commands, but more dogs at theater are great.
I'm sure there's one dog out there, though, in this community that would probably make a great Sandy.
Bring on the dog editions. I'm here for it.
Absolutely. So what's one of the things that the community can do to help support you guys as a festival moving forward?
Well, first, buy your tickets. We would love to have you at our shows. We are also interested if people want to come in a group, but they don't think they can afford group tickets. Again, reach out to us. We want groups to attend the theater. That's most important. So email info@StephenvilleTheatreFestival.com and we could talk about what it would mean for your group to come. We are starting to, with the LIFT program, sort of accept scripts from local playwrights and new works. And so perhaps you are writing something, or when we do our play reading, it's listed in our schedule in August. Come on out, and that's for free. And you can just hear, like, what some people are working on. Volunteer with us, volunteer for the 50/50 sales. We have our bars also run with volunteers. And and engage in conversations, audition. Don't be afraid to audition, friends. I think people get this idea that it's not an open door, but it really is. We're really excited to meet new local talent.
And there is lots of great talent in this area, for sure. And so I know we're mostly talking about your season today, but the festival has been involved in many other things in the community and putting off different workshops and stuff. So why don't you tell us a bit about that stuff?
Well, yeah, in the winter we did some of that. We started a mini pop-up festival we called Winter Warmer Festival, more of a chance to get community together for workshops. We had some musical theater workshops and we had a group singing session, and we're looking to do more things like that. We also had a little cabaret concert, which we're hoping to do more of those things. Amelia and I are brainstorming more workshops, professional development workshops related to theater. I know that Faith Young and others are interested in, puppet building workshops and other kind of production sides of things. And we do have a summer camp this summer for 3 days. So if you know a youth, I think we said the age was 15 and under, to come engage in some drama workshops and take in some drama camps, and you get to see All Shook Up. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. And I know that most of your season shows are in the evening, but you do have some afternoon matinees as well.
Yeah, I actually added a few more matinees, and my marketing person, Jamal, and I are going to be working on trying to get word out about that, because the reason we did that is we know that sometimes some people don't want to drive at night here. So we have a few more options for you to come out in the day. Maybe you grab lunch before or dinner after, get to enjoy a show, and then you can get home safe and not worry about driving at night.
And I know we get a lot of people who come from, say, on the Port-au-Port Peninsula or out Bay St. George South, Port aux Basques, Corner Brook, all these outlying areas, even from Gros Morne. If they can kind of plan for the day, leave in the morning, come, take in a show, drive back home that night, it's certainly more convenient for sure.
So please spread the word about that. It's perfect also for children, or maybe more people who are older who might have other reasons that they can't attend the theater in the evening. So we'd love to have them join us.
And of course, if somebody is looking to buy a ticket, just go online at the Arts and Culture or drop by the Arts and Culture Center.
Yeah, then they have the phone number. Where is it here? But also all of that is listed on Stephenvilletheatrefestival.com. So then it'll take you right to the site. So if that's an easier way to remember, you can go to our website, Stephenvilletheatrefestival.com. And yeah, for tickets for the festival box office, the phone number is 709-643-4553. And dinner theater is sold through the Days Inn, and that's 709-643-6666 is the phone number for them. But again, that info is also on our website should you lose sight of it.
Absolutely. And I'm just looking here in your pamphlet. You've also got the Broadway brunch on the base.
Yeah.
And a Broadway bingo at the Acadian Hotel. What's that all about?
Well, we're getting those tickets up like literally today. Broadway bingo at the Acadian is we're going to be singing some Broadway tunes, and with your ticket you'll get 3 bingo cards. We'll play some bingo games with some prizes. No cash prizes, just fun prizes. So it's like a little bit of a night to listen to some awesome Broadway tunes and play some bingo games. So it could be a great girls' night out or friends' night out. Not really. I was just finding out family. You have to leave by 9, so you could bring kids, but you'd have to leave at the intermission. But it is more of a fun cabaret vibe than cabaret musical theater than an actual show itself. But we're going to sing songs from some of the best of the fest so far, plus some other possible future songs. Like maybe there might be a song or two from Wicked, for example. Just saying.
Awesome. Wow. Little hint there, maybe.
Yeah.
And I guess just if you want to touch on as well, the Broadway brunch on the base.
Yeah. So that's part of the Stephenville Summer Soiree. So that's part of their events. So they've been doing their brunch on that first Sunday. And we are going to sing at it. So we're going to be having 5 artists, including myself, singing some Broadway tunes, again, while you eat your brunch. And this is like usually a hit activity, and we're just adding a little Broadway to it.
Excellent. And actually, I'm going to be interviewing a couple of people from the Summer Soiree as my next podcast. So they're going to be guest number 2.
Awesome. Well, they've been great partners to us as well.
So I'm sure, I'll look forward to hearing all about that as well. And I mean, anything else you want to add before we sign off here today?
I guess one thing I'll just say is, as a new artistic director, I don't want to say my door is always open, but I'm very open to having conversations and hearing what your ideas are for Stephenville Theatre Festival. I have to shout out the whole team does amazing work. It is not a one-person job, and so thank you to the whole team. But I think most importantly is this Stephenville Theatre Festival belongs to Stephenville town, like to the people of Stephenville. So we want everyone to feel like pride in what we do and be excited about the future of it. So let's see if we can put this whole place on the map by 2028 for the 50th.
Absolutely. And of course, you'll always hear somebody when they're talking about the festival and talking about shows saying, oh, wouldn't it be great if they did, well, hey.
Let me know what you think we should do.
Reach out. Yeah. Reach out, because there's a big season coming up. So now's the time when you can get your input in there, right, and plan for that big one. So
yes.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming in here today and being my first guest on the podcast.
You did a great job hosting.
Thank you very much. And I am very looking forward to taking in most, if not all, of these shows this summer.
Yes! Come to them all. Come to them all.
Definitely. So thank you very much. And hopefully we'll be talking to you again, and maybe some of the artists as well.
I'm sure they'd love to. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.